Hey everybody, this is DeckofManyToyboxes here today, and this is my channel, my D&D channel that is. On this channel we will be covering Dungeons & Dragons topics, but the main bulk of the channel is going to be a series I will be calling How to Run. In this series we will be going over Dungeons & Dragons' most legendary monsters and how to run them. If you guys would like me to cover monsters that aren't in Dungeons & Dragons, but I could feasibly create a stat block and abilities for, then let me know in the comments. Also, let me know in the comments what Dungeons & Dragons monster you would like me to cover in the next video. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And with that out of the way, let's move on to our first ever monster, the legendary Red Dragon. Red Dragons are probably the most iconic, well-known monster in all of Dungeons & Dragons. They are giant, powerful, and intelligent legendary creatures that epitomize all that an evil dragon represents. Let's have a look at that stat block before we move on to personality, role-playing, and combat. An adult Red Dragon is a huge dragon that is chaotic evil. It has a 19 for its armor class, making use of those steel heart scales, a large pool of 256 hit points, a speed of 40 feet with an additional 40-foot climb and 80-foot fly. The dragon is strong, possessing an impressive 27 strength, but lacks agility with a dexterity of 10. They are hardy, with a constitution of 25, and possess a relatively smart 16 for intelligence. On the wisdom side, they lack a little with only a 13, but for charisma, they boast one of the highest in the game, at 21. Jeez. That's very suave. Forget the bard seducing your BBEG. The party has to be careful that this legendary dragon doesn't seduce them. The stat block continues, and at CR 17, the Red Dragon Millennial has a +6 proficiency bonus, with proficiency in Dexterity, Constitution, Wisdom, and Charisma saving throws. Its skill proficiencies are Perception and Stealth, with that Perception having Expertise. A Red Dragon has immunity to fire. Obviously, it'd be kinda dumb for a creature that breathes fire and lives in volcanoes to be damaged by fire. Its senses are Blind Sight, out to 60 feet, Dark Vision out to 120 feet, and a Passive Perception of 23. Jeez, that's like quadruple expertise. An adult Red Dragon can read, write, and speak Common and Draconic. Now for abilities and actions. The dragon has a 3 of Legendary Resistance, for those saving throws it doesn't have pluses to or proficiency in. As for actions, the dragon has a fearsome multi-attack routine that lets it use its frightful presence and then make a bite attack and 2 claw attacks. This multi-attack routine does an average of 56 damage. The dragon can also make a fearsome tail attack that does 17 damage, but has a huge reach of 15 feet. On top of all that, it wouldn't be a Dargon without its signature breath weapon, Fire. The dragon's fire breath recharges on a roll of 5 or a 6, and does 63 fire damage to anything within a 60-foot cone, provided they don't succeed on the DC 21 dexterity save. It wouldn't be much of a legendary creature without legendary actions, and this dragon has 3 of them. The dragon can put that expertise and perception to good use by protecting itself for a turn. No, wait, that's Pokemon. Sorry. Detect lets it make a perception check. It can also make use of that tail attack that it has, or make a fearsome wing attack. The wing attack is the only legendary action that costs more than 1 action, that being 2, and it allows the dragon to blow away creatures around it by flapping its wings and fly a distance away, dealing any creature that fails the DC 22 dexterity saving throw 15 bludgeoning damage. Alrighty, now that we have that monster of a stat block out of the way, let's talk about the Red Dragon's personality. Red Dragons are intelligent, proud, and charismatic creatures. They enjoy meddling in the politics and daily affairs of nearby villages and towns, and they take slaves in order to carry out this ambition. Red Dragons do not ask for things, they do not tolerate disrespect, and they loathe to consider another creature, even another Red Dragon, as their equal. When your party encounters a Red Dragon, provided they don't sneak in and attempt to pilfer the treasure right from under the dragon's nose, the dragon would delight in some small talk and light conversation about their affairs and travels before attacking or attempting to enslave them. The dragon is highly protective of its treasure, and would never allow another creature to get anywhere near its hoard of treasure, and trespassers that the dragon catches will be cooked and devoured. Finally, combat. When, and it is when, because why else would you throw a Red Dragon into your game, weirdo? The party finally faces off against the Red Terror, remember 2 things. 1. Red Dragons are arrogant, and think themselves above all others. And 2. A Red Dragon knows how powerful its fire breath is, and will use it pretty much as often as possible. Please keep in mind that it is highly unlikely the party will encounter the Red Dragon while out and about on the road, so use those layer actions. Anyway, the first round of combat is simple. The dragon really has only a few options. Firstly, it can be assumed that the party, who didn't try to sneak in on the sleeping dragon, are a ways away from the dragon to begin combat, as the dragon wouldn't let them near its hoard. We will run the encounter as though the dragon is 3rd in the initiative order. With so many classes and feats and abilities dedicated to initiative and dexterity, it is reasonable to assume the dragon's +0 to initiative isn't letting it react first in combat. This is also a good setup because the red dragon's turns will all be relatively the same. That is, if you are just using a standard, vanilla adult red dragon stat block, and you didn't beef it up with charisma or intelligence related spells. It's safe to assume that whichever player went first would either attempt to maneuver to a good vantage point or for a ranged attack, or they would attempt to rush the dragon. This is a good time for the dragon to make use of its Detect legendary action to sniff out any characters attempting to hide, or making a tail attack against a rushing player. Remember, it has a reach of 15 feet, which is not too shabby. The dragon, after probably making use of its Detect and 2 tail attacks against a standard party, would then use its Fire Breath. Makes sense. The characters are probably still a good distance away from the dragon, and any rushing characters are probably well within the deadly cone of flame. With its legendary actions restored, the dragon then flies into the air, ready to sweep its tail down at anyone foolish enough to get close, and using its Detect so no sneaky rogues can get a good hit. Returning to the dragon's turn, it would then likely be forced to land, away from the adventurers, and make use of its frightful presence. A creature like a dragon is smart enough to know that if it blocks the entrance, its frightful presence is much more effective. It can then move in on any party members with enough nerve to challenge it, to rip them apart with its bite and claws. The dragon then uses its wing attack to escape the party if it feels overwhelmed by more than, let's say, 2 adventurers. This pattern of Fire Breath, Detects, and tail attacks followed up by a multi-attack and wing attack will probably make up a majority of the fight, with the dragon saving its legendary resistance for those potentially devastating abilities like Stunning Strike or high-level spells. The fun part, really, is after the battle. When only a few characters remain standing, the dragon might cut them a deal if they showed their strength, but didn't severely wound the dragon. I really don't know what would be worse, being turned into a new ash sculpture for the dragon's horde, or living in eternal servitude to a tyrannical overlord. I guess that's up to the players to decide. One more thing. The dragon is proud, yes, but not stupid, clearly. And if it thinks that the characters might end it, it will attempt to flee. Dragons live for a long time, and they aren't too keen on letting their long lives be cut short by mere mortals. A red dragon that is defeated in this way will seek vengeance. So, now you know how to run a standard vanilla adult red dragon. Hope that you enjoyed our adventure into battle strategy of the Red Horror, and join me next time as we learn how to run another legendary creature. This would normally be the part of the video where I reveal the next monster that will be in the series, but I want to see your suggestions down in the comments. Hit that like button, subscribe, and tell me down below what creature you would like to learn to run next.